Pescarma, agus falchagu, Her Infinite Variety. Hello and welcome to Her Infinite Variety. My name is Jackie Ferguson and I'm coming to you from a croft on the Isle of Lewis, one of the Hebridean islands off the northwest coast of Scotland. This is a podcast about basically knitting and gardening, growing, a bit of reading and basically anything else that happens to interest me at any given time. So this is the third episode of the podcast. I did record a couple back end of 2020, but then I never got back round to doing anything recording. Just kept putting it off and then time moved on. But I call you, I'm here now. And I'm coming to you today from my potting shed. There may be construction sounds in the background because there's a new house going up just down the road. So apologies for that. And I'm not quite sure where, because I'm recording on this phone, where I should be looking. But we'll work it out. So I'm coming from the potting shed. This is quite a new build for me. It's went up last year. I talked about it in episode 2 and my plans for the croft and what I was doing, and here it is. It's a reality now, and it's a really lovely space. I really enjoy it. Got lots of use out of it last year. So I'm going to talk mainly today about what's going on growing wise, what I've been up to outside and in the polycrubs in particular. And plans for the coming month or so. But first I'm wearing hand knits, so we'll talk about them first. And the first thing I want to talk about is my hat, which you may recognise if you're a knitter and a watcher of podcasters, as the Musselburgh, which is a pattern by Isolde Teague. And this is one which is knit from the top down. I'll just put my glasses down there. So you knit it as a closed tube. And so you start at the top, you increase down, then you knit straight, then you decrease down, and then you close it off. And the hat folds inside itself to make nice cozy layers, and then you just put it. I won't be able to get it back over now. And it becomes a nice warm hat, and you've got loads of layers over your ears. And so living here where we get a lot of wind, it's good to have your ears covered. So I like this hat. It's knitted in a 4-ply superwash sock yarn. It was part of a sock set dyed by Kaz from Gardener's Cottage Yarns. Kaz has got a lovely podcast called The Wee So and So. I really enjoy it. It was one of the very first knitting YouTube podcasts that I watched and followed, and I just love her. She just speaks the same language as me, literally. And she dyed, this yarn is called Mr. McCallum to You, which she dyed in memory of her late husband, the lovely David, who was quite a regular feature on our podcast. And I wanted to get that, and I paired it with a mohair from Fyberspates called. It was Fyberspates Cumulus. The colour was sea green. I feel in retrospect it was a bit of a wrong choice because it's really diluted the colour of the 4-ply. I mean, I do like it, but I think I would want to knit something else in Kaz's colours so that I could see them properly. And but having said that, I do really like the hat. I like the colour. I like the way it's turned out. So that's that. My cardigan, I'm wearing the Annabelle cardigan. I'll maybe just quickly stand up. see it's a top down garter stitch cardigan. The sleeves are in reverse stocking stitch. This is an old pattern, way back 10, 12 years ago. I think I got this and then never knitted it, but I always wanted to. I remember seeing Laurie back in the blog days. Laurie ×5 had knitted it and put afterthought pockets in it, which I thought was, oh, my goodness, that was amazing. However, and I had I bought the yarn about 8 years ago. I bought this in a yarn shop in Aberdeen. My husband sadly was diagnosed with cancer then, and we had to go to Aberdeen while he was in hospital. And just round the corner from where we were staying was a fabulous wee yarn shop. So this was my yarn therapy. I went in and spent a while choosing it. The yarn is discontinued now. It's Rowan Renew, Pure Life Renew, and it's in the colourway Lorry, Lorry. So I got that and cast it on, but I got into, I got the stitch counts wrong several times. The stitch markers got caught in the yarn and I had to cut them out. I had quite a lot of problems, and really at that particular time I didn't have the head space to deal with it, so it got put aside. And unfortunately, a year later my husband passed away and it just got sidelined. I did knit other things. I did, I have knitted things then and since, but then I thought, no, I'm going to use this yarn, don't want to waste the yarn. And I thought I'd found a pattern that I was going to knit it up in, because I frogged it. I didn't have the heart to go back to what I was doing. So I frogged it, found another pattern, cast on. No, it just didn't work out. Found 2 or 3 other patterns, kept trying them, and nothing really worked. And last year I caught sight of it in its bag in the bottom of a box. So I need to use this. I need to knit this. So I downloaded the Felix, which everybody was knitting at the time, and I went as far as to do the provisional cast on. And I just thought, what? This yarn is meant to be an Annabelle, and so here it is. I cast it on and it just went really well. I was really happy with with the process. Flew off the needles easy, and it's now become what it was originally meant to be, but it took its own time, and that's okay. I've got up here, I've got a pair of fingerless mitts, which are a bit tatty now and maybe have compost on them, but these are nice for working out here. These are Drops Lima. It's a pattern, I think, free on Ravelry, called Easiest Fingerless Mitts. I think it took me a day to knit them up, and yeah, that's so. That's basically the knitting content for today. I do plan to do a full proper knitting podcast next week, because I do have a couple of recent finished objects, very recent, in fact last week and the week before, and a couple of works in progress and some knitting plans, so we can talk about them hopefully next week, and maybe come back for that. But I want to talk mostly today about growing and what's going on, and what's growing here. Well, nothing is growing. Here we are, end of March, and not a seed sown in this pot and shed. Call myself a gardener, but in fact it's been quite deliberate, because I will be going away in April, so I will not be here tend to the seedlings in the way that I would want to, you know, look after them. And while I'm perfectly happy to ask, you know, neighbours to chuck a couple of cans of water about, you know, I can't really ask anybody to pot on 3 trays of brassicas. So I'm going to leave that, but well, you know, there's plenty time. It's only March. It's Scotland. It's the northwest of Scotland. It's fine. There'll be plenty of time when I come back. I've got a heated propagator. I've got plenty indoor sheltered space with light, and you know, it'll be fine. And by the time I come back, it will be, the risk of frost should be over, and you know, things can get started outside even. So we'll get there, it'll be fine. And what I thought I would do is really to concentrate on getting everything in place, so having the beds prepared and mulched and watered and you know, all cleared, ready to receive the seeds and the seedlings. So we'll have a wee wander about outside and just see what's going on, and you can have a wee look at my setup, and then we'll come back and have a finish up. So we'll start in the potting shed itself. This is a lovely wee space. There we go. Nice big windows. Bits and pieces, I think. I'll maybe move you back out a bit, that's better. I'm very pleased with how this has turned out. We'll go outside now. Might be a bit of wind noise. It's not too bad. So it's just opposite the polycrab. We'll go in there in a minute. But this is an area that I've been working on. This is some old fencing that needs cleared up. This is my orchard area. So I've got some rhubarb and some, it's actual wild garlic, some spring bulbs and some fruit trees. There's wee buds coming out. I think that's the crab apple. So these are apples and plums, a crab apple and a cherry at the front. I've put in these spring bulbs. I've got some black currants over there. I'm going to plant more, and compost and wood storage over here. This is the polycrab, which I talked about in my second video. And there we are, there's a wee look in. Let's go in and see. So I've got, what have I got here? I've got summer fruit and raspberries here. I need to sort out the post and wire thing to tie them in, but I kind of know what I'm going to do over there. There's the cherry tree. There's quite a lot of the local honeybees are in. Can you see them? In fact, there's quite a lot. Guys along the road have got hives, so you know, that's good. So that's a cherry. These two are plums. One's a Victoria, one's a Marjorie seedling. These are my autumn fruit and raspberries. They were just incredible last year. I put quite a lot of stuff on my Instagram, which I've linked to somewhere. If you want to have a look, and you'll see that I did a raspberry post. That's strawberries. They're looking a bit tatty and needing cleared out. Some blueberries and chickweed. More blueberries that I'm going to put in that bed once I bring the ericaceous compost over. That's sort of last year's canes that I'm in the process of chopping up to go in the compost, but takes a wee while, so I'm just doing a wee drop at a time. These are 2 beds that had apple trees in them, but the apple trees were not happy. They did not like being in here, so I've moved them outside, and I've covered the bed with seaweed, and I'll plant other things. And this is just storage just now. Obviously that's going to have stuff in it. I'm thinking maybe pumpkins, to be honest. I did quite well with pumpkins last year, and I actually grew some. 5 of them. I'll just focus a wee bit here on this lovely plum blossom. So yeah, we'll work it out. That's some garlic, and some radish and turnip, cherry tree, these, so that's a very hopeful sign. Over here I've been saving up bags because I'm going to grow my potatoes in bags, so I don't need to take up space. And there's a nectarine. So who knows how that will do. I've got a bit here covered with carpet, which I don't know what I'm going to put in, but that will be something. I've got some raised beds out here. That's got the garlic in it, and these 2 are just needing cleared and sorted so that I can plant things when I get home. Yeah, there's quite a bit to do, but I feel I can only focus on doing a wee bit at a time because it's only me doing it all myself, so I easily get overwhelmed. Anyway, we'll go up to the other polycrub and have a wee look and see what's doing up there. So this is the wee spring bed, and it's always nice in the springtime. There's lots of things coming up. That's a nice one today. Yeah. And we'll just pop over to the other polycrub, and we've got some tulips down here. In we go. So again, as last time, this place becomes very much a storage for things that might blow away, but there's also nice things growing. There's some lovely salads, some broad beans that I did not plant because they just came up. So but they're very welcome nonetheless, because I haven't started off any this year. That's my chrysanthemums. I love these. I mean I grow them just because my papa did, and I had a really wonderful display of them last year. I've got some kale here, and I've got some willow cuttings here. There was quite a big branch blew down in the winter storms, so I've cut twigs off, and I'm going to stick them in the ground over at the croft, but I've just got them in there now. Some nice tulips that I planted really quite late. Actually, it was at middle to the end of January I put these in. There's one coming up. They're a variety called brown sugar, so they're going to be really lovely. Canes and sweet pea things. What have we got over here? Let's see, quite a lot over here. Really nice, some parsley popping up through the cabbage, and some broad beans again popping up. This was where I had planted them last year, so they're obviously escapees. There's chard and some more salad, some more kale, and some lovely broccoli. Look at that. We've been eating this broccoli. In fact, I think that's what I picked last night. We've been eating this broccoli for weeks, It was a succession of sowing. I think I planted this lot in July and then another lot in August and possibly the other one in September. And yeah, I think they're the ones that planted in September because there's no sign of any heads on them. But they have been fabulous, and especially really since the solstice. Once the winter solstice is over, there's a definite strengthening of the light, even though it takes a wee while to come back fully. You know, there's a change, and after that I always see a difference in what's been overwintered. And these just came, and really since middle of January we've been eating broccoli at almost every meal, or we could be, in the cabbage and the chard. So, and that's just a few weeks that are left over, but we'll do something with them. And a bit of rose scented geraniums, which I absolutely love. Yeah, so let's turn you around a bit. I don't know, can I turn you around? There we are. So here, this is me. And I know it's all a bit rough and ready, and you know, a lot of things are not done, not as tidy as they should be, and I'm not even looking at the camera because it's really awkward just looking over here. Yeah, but you know, as I said, it's only me doing it all, and I've got a million other things to do, an infinite variety of things. It's just where I am. There's other bits of the garden. Oh, there's a nice, wait, we'll go and have a wee look at this. I just see them shining through. This is, I mean, you can see this is actually, I'm going to turn this into a herb bed this year. This is asparagus, but look at these. These are for cutting for the house. So we've got a wee very overgrown patio and a big giant telephone pole, which is a feature of living rurally. Anyway, let's pop back over to the shed and have a wee chat, finish up. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed that wee tour. I've also planted a couple of areas of woodland further down on the croft, and there's a pond, and so I'm going to take you down there one time and have a look around there. It might be interesting. And yeah, talking about woodland, I want to talk about this book that I'm reading, that I'm almost finished, that I will hold up, but because I'm recording on a phone, it'll be back to front. But this is A Wood of One's Own by Ruth Pavey, and I'm almost finished it. It's absolutely delightful book. Ruth Pavey in the 90s randomly bought a wood, as you do. Well, people did it back then, probably still do. But she bought this wood at an auction, and had brought, you know, it's the story of how she did that, how that came to be, and how she brought the woodland back to life. And it's, you know, it's really, really engagingly written, really lovely. It's funny, you know, some of the stories that she has, some of the scenarios that she found herself in, you know, as a single woman doing everything on her own, related very much to that, and to some of the situations were very resonant, and some of the characters that she came in contact with through her experiences were, yeah, I know these guys, but you know, really very, very lovely and nice, easy bedtime reading. I would definitely recommend it, and certainly we need something like that in these times. But yeah, good wee bit of escapism. So there you go. That's me back in. Hopefully keep it going a wee bit longer this time. And thanks for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed your wee visit to the croft. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye now.